If you've been working with 808s for a little while, maybe you found a killer 808 sample, it's easy to drag it in and somehow it doesn't hit the same as you thought it would. There's a few mistakes that you can easily make with 808s that basically make them unusable in your tracks. So in this video, we're going to go over how I like to shape my 808s, how I turn them from samples into something that I can play all over my tracks, and then a few techniques I can use to make it sound exactly how I like it to sound and just hit crazy. So let's get into it. I'm just going to build a quick beat to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about here. So I've built just this rough rhythm based on a drum groove and a song starter, and this is a great point where we get to where we're like, okay, time to add in an 808. And normally it would look something like this. We've got a whole list of kind of samples that we can pull up, and there's a little checklist that I like to go through to make sure that they're actually usable. And it will start with this. I'm going to grab a new track, place this sample. I want you to notice that when it comes as just a waveform, but straight away I'm placing it into a sampler, something like this, which allows me to control exactly how it's going to sound. And we'll get a little bit more into that in a second. But for right now, the main thing that I just need to focus on is that I can play this at every note on my keyboard, and the pitch varies, right? Okay, sweet. So we've got this point now. The first mistake that I see people make is that not recognizing that these samples aren't perfect. They're made by people and they don't often come in the key that you expect them to. So if I play a C note here, it should play a C, but sometimes it doesn't. So the first thing I do is I'll drag some type of tuner, something like this, and just check that the note that I play, I want it to be a C. There you go. And that's how you know Simon's good with his business, because when I play a C, it is a C. And that just makes it a lot easier, so that when you see on this side, for example, the song starter says C sharp minor. So now I know that when I play the C sharp key, we're actually in the right place. Whereas with some samples, you never know, you get them off the internet or whatever, they're transposed however much up under the cover. You press C sharp, it plays an E, and you don't even know why none of your stuff is working. So make sure you check that first. Let's find a basic groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want you to note that what I did there, right, is that when implementing these 808s, all I focused on at the moment was just playing the root note. Here's a great way to find the notes that you need. And this is something that I do when I'm not just programming the root notes, but trying to find any note. You don't have to listen to it right down in the place where it's going to end up. It's kind of hard to hear. If you notice, the deeper you go, the harder it is to actually work out what that note is. So I'll play it really high so that I can get the tone. Up there, it's easy to hear what the actual tone of the 808 is. So now if I play this, that's easy for me to recognize if it's in key or out of key. Say I did this. Now I know that's not going to work. I can hear the clashing. Whereas if it's all the way down here, you might not realize that it's even clashing until you release the track, it's getting played, and people are like, damn, the 808 is just not hitting the way it should. It's not satisfying. That's because you're on the wrong note and you might not even know it. So start up high. Make sure you got your notes correct by hearing it. And then once you've found that, then you can drop it down. Hey. One other thing as well, is very common in dance music, and especially something that I feel like should be talked about more with hip hop as well, is that you want to move the key to make sure the 808 hits in the best place. There's some keys that are better than others for this, and you kind of learn it by picking it up just by ear. But let's say I pitched the whole thing up and it's sounding like this, right? It sounds cool, but it's easy to argue. You could potentially argue, you could be like, I want the 808 to have a little bit more chest. I want it to have a little bit more thump to it, right? If I was to drop it down an octave, all of a sudden it's too dark. So you have this, it feels like you have this option where it's like, oh, it's either too high or too dark. In dance music, it's very common to shift the key of your entire track, so you're working in those few keys where you're just kind of sitting in optimal frequencies for heart punch, for, you know, vibration on the speakers, that feeling. There's like a few keys like around the D minor space where you don't have to sit too high or too low. It's like a Goldilocks zone. So I encourage you to play with that as well. Don't be afraid to move around your music, especially in the early stages, somewhere like here, where I'm still trying to figure out where I want the track to be. I could just have the whole thing, I could be moving it around like. Okay, so that feels too low. Bring it up. Oh. Do you see how much more oomph we get from the 808 when we dropped it down that amount? But the key is you don't do it just to the 808. You have to make the decision to do that to every instrument in the track. Okay. That's absolutely crazy. These are like some kind of hidden tips that can kind of catch people out. If you want me to make a little bit more detail about some of the basic stuff about like just finding the root notes in general, some common patterns you can do like the octave patterns or the fifth patterns, stuff like that, I can definitely go into more detail, but I just want to go over some like clear gotchas where even if you were trying to follow a separate tutorial that showed you where to put your placements and you put all of your 808s in a place you like, if it's still not hitting, you're like, what's going on there? Another really, really cool technique that can feel like missed is that you've got this sample. It feels like that might be the only thing you can do with it. But there's so many ways to sound design just this 808 in itself to kind of make it longer, make it shorter, give it more life, give it less life, etc., etc. And it's all going to primarily come from using this ADSR curve here. So if you don't know what an ADSR curve, it's essentially attack, decay, sustain, release. Attack controls how far something comes in. Decay controls how far something goes from peak volume down to where it will sustain or down to where it will settle for the length of its playing. Sustain controls how long it will play as it's held out. And release controls how much it plays after you've let go of the keys. So that's a lot of information, but it will make more sense in an actual example. And I use this to make my tracks or my 808s very, very short if I need to. And then I'll show you how you can make them longer if you need to as well. If I pull the sustain down all the way, you could imagine what I'm saying with this ADSR is I want it to come straight in. I want it to go from peak volume and decay all the way down to 0, okay? And then we don't even need to touch the release because we've already hit 0. So listen to how quiet or how quick it dies away after this. It's like almost just a single hit, right? Now we can use the decay we've really shortened up the length of that sample versus say so you're not just limited with what the sample dictated on the waveform. You can construct way more stuff out of this, and this is super powerful if you like the tone, but sometimes it's leaving gaps or sometimes it's leaving places where it doesn't quite sit. Now let's talk about how you can make it longer. This is a little bit more of an advanced technique, but essentially what we're gonna do is loop part of this waveform to overplay. So I'm gonna click the loop button, bring it in, I'm gonna take this section here, we'll bring this loop section down, and you can do this with most samplers, but what it's gonna say is it's gonna start at the beginning, and then it's going to get to this point and loop over and over. Let's take a listen to how that sounds so far. There we go. So from there, once you've got a kind of sound that works, it's just a case of tweaking. So we're getting those click points because at the moment, when it loops, we haven't got an even cut of the waveform and it's causing a little bit of a click, but we can utilize the fade So there we go. So now we've got the loop kind of playing over itself as we play it for slightly longer. I'm hearing a little bit of kind of waving fluctuation. So it takes a little bit of tweaking these controls to get an exact point where one waveform cuts at a neat point with another. And now if we wanted to, we can make this whole thing longer. Really, really, really cool technique. Really, really powerful if we want to kind of construct and change our waveforms. And I want to leave you with one last tip, which is kind of super helpful. When you've got something like this and you want to get a little bit more kind of heat out of it, a little bit more thump, that's usually where I'm going for clipping. But in fact, In fact, let me cover that in another video. We'll talk about clipping, we'll talk about sidechain compression, ways to get the 808s really, really hitting hard, so that if you want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that concept as well, we can talk about that. Because it's more of a mixing thing and this is kind of more a production, I want to kind of have that clear separation between, okay, this is how I get my 808s into the track, working and hitting, and then we can talk about how we mix it in the context of an entire track in another video. So let me know if you'd like to see that, and let me know if this one was helpful, guys. Just a few quick tricks that you really, really want to know. If your 808s aren't working for some reason, check these first and then go from there. If you guys want more help with your production, check out Producer Mastery. That's the place where I am coaching people to help develop their skills and making sure that they're making the best music they've ever made, just like the favorite artists that they love. Some of the radio ready tracks that are coming out of there are absolutely crazy. So check that out. That'll be linked in the description as well. I love you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. But for now, peace out.